Hello, welcome back to Album Reviews by Night, focusing on rock records, but we verge off, veer off, that is, um, from time to time. Let me. This must be a trick by my assistant, who has now given me the same record in a row.
Have
This,
I?
this one has a border on
Have
it.
I?
Well, to be particular about it, this one has a border on it. Uh, Same back, yet I'd have to look at the records to see which one perhaps was legitimate or not. I tend to doubt either was, only because that's usually the case, but you never know. And I'm not sure I could even verify it per se myself. Um, Interesting crop difference would be what I'd say. Here we go. I have to look hard at this because I don't know that I've ever seen it before. Music for non-thinkers. Well, this I like very much because I would say this should be sort of should have a picture of like Beyonce on it or something. You know, some of the Jay-Z or should have a collage like the Sergeant Pepper album of all the rap people.
Like, what are you talking about?
And then it should say music for non-thinkers,
No.
and they would have it right on target.
Now you're gonna get the next batch going. You're gonna like it.
Oh yes, here we have Blind Faith, which is an interesting cover because this has on the other side of it. This was the sort of Americanized thing that came out after it was initially released like this, which has Ginger Baker's daughter topless at like age 12 or something in 1969. And of course, you know, being underage, this is essentially child porn. So, and they made it into this. Good album, though. Talking about the musical merits, a great album, even. Perhaps slightly overrated, but maybe not. Um, Worthy of most of its accolades. And we have here something in a shrink wrap. Would this mean it's this is the Melted Americans, I believe. Yes, and this is an album by them. I believe their first album, and they are really a very underappreciated and unknown group. They have a very energetic sound, thoughtful compositions, good playing, great playing even, and really very enjoyable. They created several subsequent albums. I'm not sure where they are now, um, but one of the really very best even American sort of underground groups from the post 1980 period. Here we go with, remember we're doing this by dark, John Hammond, Big City Blues. John Hammond was the son of one of the top executives at Columbia Records, so he had obviously a little open door to him in the record business, and apparently made pretty good, made off well with it. Revealing himself to be a talented blues person, and created a number of records, none of which I have, but he started off in the 60s and went into the 70s. Not sure when he dropped out of the music business because I don't know that anybody's heard from him in a long time. And here we have one of the all-time classics, of course, DeGada, deVida, which was a slur for In the Garden of Eden, but it remained the slur rather than the intended title. I saw these guys live, all four of them, in 1988, I think it was. They sounded exactly like they do on this record. It was great. I saw them in New York City someplace. And now the guitar player, the youngest guy, has died. and I think they still play somehow, or one or more of them hold themselves out as Iron Butterfly. Uh, Really a great album. The first side, in particular, having all the songs. The second side having the classic title track, which was this was rumored to be one of the first platinum-selling albums, maybe the first, which is 1 million sales in America. So these guys clearly made off well. Although back in the '60s, probably wasn't them as much as the record company personnel. And finally, it appears, we have an Amon Duul album. Amon Duul being one of the forerunning German cosmic space rock groups. What is that genre? What does that mean? Progressive sounding, heavy flutes, keyboards, guitars, the whole bit. Hypnotic sounding sort of sounds. Some vocals, but predominantly instrumentally is where they're at. And don't know this album. Looks like a much later album of theirs. They may still even be going strong 40 plus years after they first started out and spearheaded the whole German rock scene, which has many, many good artists in it. I bid you farewell for now.